I'm Jeff Pospisil, the 10-Minute Treasurer, with practical advice for improving your church's financial future. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Families First tax credit and how that applies to clergy. In a previous video, and I'll link to this, I talked about what happens if a lay employee comes down with COVID or one of their family members so that they have to quarantine. Well, now let's talk about clergy. This is one of our fantastic clergy in the Dakotas UMC. This is Dane Zachrison serving Epworth United Methodist Church in Valley City. And Dane was really one of the first clergy that I'm aware of to test positive for COVID and go through that struggle. And since then, we've had close to 20% of our clergy as of mid-November test positive for COVID. So what do? Can the church claim that credit? In my research, I've come to the conclusion that no, the church really shouldn't claim that payroll tax credit if the pastor tests positive for COVID. I just don't think that, from what I'm seeing, that that's correct. And here's really what formed my decision. When I look at that Families First bill, the actual bill, they say that you need to look to compensation as defined by 3121A of the Internal Revenue Code. I really don't understand this that much, but so I also looked and I just looked to see what minister compensation is coded as. And minister wages are coded as 3121B8. And I verified this with some of my peers, and this seems to be our common understanding is that ministers do not qualify for at least the payroll tax credit. And then as further evidence, I went to the Form 941, which is your quarterly payroll tax report. And to claim the payroll tax credit, you have to complete this section here. And that's the taxable Social Security wages. And for a pastor's compensation, that is never included in this section. They are considered self-employed by the Social Security Administration, and then they're employees for federal income tax purposes. So you include their federal taxable income, but never for Social Security and never for Medicare. So that was just further evidence that the church cannot claim this payroll tax credit for their clergy employees. Here's my disclaimer, because I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I've done a lot of research and talked to a number of people, and I haven't heard of a good case for why, or really any case for why a church should be able to claim that payroll tax credit for their pastor. Most of the time in all my reading, it's usually they're left as a question mark or they say no, they can't. So that's where I'm at. So if you are a pastor and you have been directly affected by COVID, meaning that you tested positive or a family member tested positive causing you to quarantine, what do? Pastors will likely be able to claim this tax credit when they file their 2020 taxes. This will go in their self-employment income section. And so the thing you need to do is start keeping good records. So first thing is track the dates. So when were you first out of work because of COVID? And then when were you able to return? And even if you were able to work part days or something like that, just make sure you document that out. Have some kind of official communication. Here happens to be my test results when I tested positive. Yeah, so if you got test results or an official email, letter from the Department of Health or from your medical professionals, that's good to keep on hand too. And then last thing, I would probably talk to your tax professional. Just ask them if there is anything else they'll need for when they file your taxes. And this might be new information to them, so it might just end up giving them homework to figure out what they should be telling their clients. All right, I hope this helped you. This really wasn't the answer I was hoping for. I was really hoping that churches could just claim this tax credit, but it is what it is, and I like the idea that pastors will likely get a tax credit and pay less taxes, so that's a good thing. But anyway, This is a ministry of the Finance Office of the Dakotas UMC, as well as the Dakotas United Methodist Foundation. And you can always find more of our stuff on www.dakotasumc.org. And if you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.